Hello, welcome to Beyond Organic Wine. I'm Adam Huss. Thank you so much for listening. This episode features audio from the Embracing Hybrid Grapes conference that took place at UC Davis on January 26, 2026. This episode is available for paid subscribers to the Beyond Organic Wine Substack. You can subscribe and listen to the full audio on the Substack app or at beyondorganicwine.substack.com. A huge thanks to those of you who already subscribe and make this and all the other content at Beyond Organic Wine possible. I couldn't do it without you. This episode features Deirdre Heekin's keynote speech at Embracing Hybrid Grapes. We decided to title her keynote The Vineyard of Lost Time because Deirdre has a book coming out later this year by that same title. And part of her presentation was an excerpt from her book. So her language becomes poetic, inspiring, and emotionally charged. She asks us to consider hybrid grapes as part of a story. Will we limit our imaginations and only envision hybrids as solutions to vinifera's problems? Will we see hybrids as merely a way to make monoculture sustainable? Or will we see them intertwined into our own story, embodying their own incomparable place in the pantheon of wine and in the deep wells of our hearts? Deirdre tells how hybrids invite us to journey together into the unknown forest of the future. She reminds us that all grapes are descended from the same source, and that source is ours as well. She shows us where to look for the hidden and secret histories of these grapes, and appeals to our courage, our love, and our shared potential with these vines to make this story heroic. Enjoy.
Jump right in to this, and I just have the pleasure of introducing somebody you've already met, Deirdre Heekin, who came in thanks to Piscina's Ranch sponsorship from Vermont to show that the incredible diversity, resilience of these grapes. And there's so many things that we could say about Deirdre. She's one of the most influential winemakers on the East Coast, spawning a whole generation of people who care about growing by listening to the land and building a beautiful culture that is essentially unique to that spot. But the one thing, I want to tell a little story about Deirdre to warm everybody up. I worked a harvest with Deirdre in 2023, and when I arrived, I got to stay in a little place called the Lamb Shack. Now I'm confused. No, it's the Lamb House. I called it the Sheep Shack. That's why I get confused. And there were flowers next to the bed, fresh flowers. And I thought that was such a nice touch. Like, who am I? I'm just the intern coming to help, but there's like fresh flowers next to it. La Garagista farms multiple vineyards in multiple locations, and one of the locations is a couple hours away, so we would stay in another place. And so the first time we went to that other place to stay, we arrive together, and Deirdre says, "Oh, your room is down the hall on the left." Now, Deirdre had been with us, it was a multiple-hour drive. But still, when I dragged my bag into the room, there were flowers that I was like, they're so pristine. Like, I was like, they have to be fake, but then they had this look of realness to them. And I went over and touched them, and they were real. And I was like, I came out, and I was like, how, what? They're like real beautiful flowers that matched the decor of the room and everything on the bedstand. And we had just gotten there, and Deirdre just smiled. And I realized by some, sort of sleight of hand, Deirdre had like raced in ahead of me and put these flowers in there before I was able to get my bag in. And that in itself was special, but to think that she planted those flowers earlier in the season, to be able to do that on all the tables and occasions throughout the year is something that I think is really special about Deirdre, and says a lot about who she is and the ethos that is part of her wines that hopefully you'll get to taste right now. Thank you so much, Deirdre.
Thank you, Adam. Can everybody hear me okay on this? Okay. I think I'm better stationary at the moment. Okay. What a great morning. We had such a beautiful introduction to everything from Elaine and Adam. What energizing panel we had. And wow, the regenerative viticulture in 10 minutes was amazing. Talk about a sleight of hand. That was wonderful. So I hope everybody's feeling energized about a big afternoon that we have ahead of us, afternoon and evening. The first thing I want to do just super quickly, though, is to say some thank yous, thanking Adam and Elodie and the whole team that's put this conference together, thanking UC Davis for hosting and all the people here, thanking the sponsors, particularly for me, Piscinus Ranch, which I have a very memorable connection to, so I'm thankful that all of the sponsors sort of got together to allow us all to be here and share in this day, which I don't know about you all, but Adam kind of mentioned it before. I feel like we're in a really historic moment right now. Again, I think Elaine said it too, the fact that we're here at UC Davis talking about hybrid varieties in California and across the country is something that I never imagined that I would see in my lifetime. So thank you for that. That's pretty special.
Beyond Organic Wine is made possible entirely by subscribers, and the rest of this episode is available for subscribers to the Beyond Organic Wine Substack only. You can subscribe easily at beyondorganicwine.substack.com or at the Substack app. Thank you so much, and a big thanks to Matt Wood of the Indie Wine Podcast for helping record the audio for this episode at the Embracing Hyper Grapes conference, and a big thanks to Colton Pro for this beautiful closing music.